Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now it's working. So, yeah, since the harmonium is here, I was thinking of singing one bhajan. Should I sing a Bengali bhajan or Hindi bhajan? Bengali. We just heard the Bengali side. Hindi bhajan? Okay. Okay, since. Yeah, it's natural that we are in Bengal, so we should sing a Bengali bhajan. And it's the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's sing a bhajan about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was composed by Srila Vasudev Ghosh. It goes like Gora Guna Gao Shuni Bohu Punna Phale Shopohu Milalo Premo Porusho Gora Guna Gao Shuni 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 No hurry, there's enough time. Gora Guna Gao Shuni Gora Guna Gao Shuni Bohu Punna Phale Shopohu Milalo Premo Porusho Gora Guna Gao Shuni Akhilo Jibe Eshoko Sago Noyana Nimeshe Shoshe অখিল জীবে এসকো সাগর নয়ন নিমেষে শোষে ওই প্রেমলে পরশনা পেলে পরানো জুড়াবে কিসে ওই প্রেমলে পরশনা পেলে পরানো জুড়াবে কিসে গোরা গুণগান শুনি। অরুণ নয়নে বরুণ আলয় করুণায় নিরীক্ষণে। অরুণ নয়নে বরুণ আলয় করুণায় নিরীক্ষণে। মধুর আলাপে আখরে আখরে সুধাধারা বরিশানে। মধুর আলাপে আখরে আখরে সুধাধারা বরিশানে। গোরা গুণগান শুনি। প্রেমে ধলো ধলো পুলকে পুরালো আপাদ আস্তক প্রেমে ধলো ধলো পুলকে পুরালো আপাদ মস্তক তনু। বাসুদেব কহে শতধারা বহে সুমেরু সিঞ্চিত জন। বাসুদেব কহে শতধারা বহে সুমেরু সিঞ্চিত জন। গোরা গুণগান শুনি। বহু পুণ্য ফলে সবহু মিলন প্রেম পরশ। গোরা গুণগান হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে Gaur Premanande Hari. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschata Vishutarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So this is Calcutta, a very important place. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur set up his first temple here. The other day we discussed how Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur started the revival of Krishna consciousness movement, that is, as it has been established by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur started to spread this movement. During Bhakti Vinod Thakur's time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings were practically eclipsed by all the Apasampradayas. No cultured person in this part of the world did not want to have anything to do with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because what was going on in the name of his teachings. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur started to spread Krishna consciousness. You will see this afternoon he'll visit the first temple that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur established, Ultodanga Main Road. And then Srila Prabhupada met him there. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took sannyas in 1919, and I think in 1921 he actually moved to Calcutta, rented that place and started to preach, started to spread Krishna consciousness. And many very, very important people, cultured people, educated people became affected by his preaching. Like Prabhupada is one such example. Prabhupada's friend, Naren Malik, met him first. And he came and told Prabhupada that a very extraordinary sadhu has come. Come, let's go and meet him. Srila Prabhupada's reaction was, I have seen all those sadhus. I don't want to see any more sadhus. That's enough of them. So from that reaction of Srila Prabhupada, we can see what the so-called sadhus used to be like in those days. Prabhupada himself also wrote in one of his books, those who were good for nothing, those who couldn't do anything, they became sadhus. It was a easy occupation. Become a sadhu and you'll get people to worship you, respect you, and you can do any nonsense. Anyway, like, but Naren Malik insisted, no, this sadhu is very different. And indeed, he was very different. He was a brilliant scholar. He was coming from a very aristocratic family. His father was a deputy magistrate. He was very learned. And naturally, he was a very eloquent speaker. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so brilliant that any of you who read his English, you must have seen that it's very difficult to understand. And his Bengali writing is very sublime, but his English was very what is the expression?
Sophisticated?
Not only sophisticated, very he wrote it, anyway, I'll come to that. It was difficult to understand. And once I was talking to one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and I questioned to him, why did he write like that? General understanding is that your language should be very lucid. The good writing is lucid language, but expressive. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj actually told me, you see, that time India was under the British rule. British were dominating India. They used to make the Indians suffer from an inferiority complex. Indians are useless, Indian culture is nothing, it's a primitive culture, etc. They just used to undermine and humiliate, sort of make the Indians suffer from sort of complex. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur write English in such a way that even an Englishman will have to sit with a dictionary to understand it. So, that actually made me realize, why he wrote like that. His English was like that. Because even an Englishman had difficulty understanding his English. So that is how brilliant a personality he was. And he was so exalted, like he started, after he started to preach and spread Krishna consciousness in Calcutta, he started to build a temple in Mayapur. That's Chaitanya Math. Bhaktivinoda Thakur already built a temple at the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur built a temple quite close to that, but it was much bigger, and he established the deities. How many of you have gone to Mayapur? Okay, those who haven't gone to Mayapur, and those who have gone to Mayapur, those who haven't, when you go there, you will see in the temple, there's a deity of Radha Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like here, Prabhupada also did the same thing here. By the way, these deities are established by Srila Prabhupada. So, Radha Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, indicating that Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna together is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur established the temple. Gandharvika Giridhari Gaur Sundar. Gandharvika is Srimati Radharani, Giridhari, and Gaur Sundar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all three in one altar. And on four sides of the temple, there are four Sampradaya Acharyas. Four Sampradaya Acharyas. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Vishnu Swami. What does that indicate? This indicates that these four acharyas built a temple where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the deity of Sri Radha Krishna. That is what Krishna consciousness is. The deity of Radha Krishna, which is saying that all four Vaishnava Sampradaya's conclusion is getting the ultimate perfection, ultimate conclusion in Radha Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a very powerful preacher, and very outspoken personality. And not only he was a great scholar, but he was an extremely outstanding personality. This also I heard that once Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was invited in the palace of the Maharaj of Koch Bihar. Koch Bihar is a province here. And the king of Koch Bihar invited Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also acted as the teacher of the prince of Tripura. The king of Tripura actually invited Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to teach his son. So this is how we can see what an outstanding personality he was. He was recognized by the kings, and kings invited. And this also I had from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, as he told me, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was invited by the king of Koch Bihar. And the king of Koch Bihar had an English lady training etiquette to the prince. Actually those days the culture was adapt the British culture. So the rich people used to do that. They used to, and those who could afford, the king actually got an English lady come to teach the prince the manners of the Britishers. And this lady wrote a letter to her relatives back in England about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Here I came across an Indian young man. He never went to England, but he is so English in his behavior and in his... So that means he spoke English in such a way, and his mannerisms was so British-like, so adept, that even an English lady who came to teach the prince the British etiquette was impressed by him. He never been to England, but he is so That is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. At the same time, he was a very staunch personality. Another king invited him. So, that was near Calcutta, in Bengal. So, like, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stayed there for 3 days. But not only did he accept any food, he didn't even take any water in that house. Because he saw that this person is so hopeless. He's not at all spiritually inclined. He kind of pretends to be spiritually inclined, but it was only show off. And the king got to know that what happened? I heard you didn't eat anything. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's response was that, how can I take food here when I couldn't offer you anything myself? I came here to give you Krishna consciousness, and you didn't take Krishna consciousness. I couldn't offer it to you. So why should I have taken any food? So that shows what a staunch character he had. And as you know, like how he defeated the Brahmanas, the other day I mentioned about that. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was, actually Bhakti Vinod, he was very young. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at that time was very young. Maybe 19, 20 years old only. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur was invited to that assembly where there would be a debate. Who is greater, Brahmanas or Vaishnavas? But at that time Bhakti Vinod Thakur was very sick. So he couldn't go, and he was very worried what to do. Like, I am invited, if I don't go, they'll think that I became afraid to face them, that's why I didn't go. So when he was lamenting, and he was probably thinking that in spite of my bad health, I will go. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him, you don't worry, I will go and face them. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur had the confidence in him. And he blessed him. Okay, then go. And that's a beautiful presentation that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made there. That's also available in a book called Brahmana and Vaishnava. And during his speech, what did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur do? He started to glorify the Brahmanas. Brahmanas are this, Brahmanas are situated in the mode of goodness, and they are this, they are that, like everything there. The Brahmanas were very excited, clapping. But then he pointed out that from the material perspective, there is 3 modes: ignorance, passion, goodness. According to the material calculation, goodness is the highest, and those who are situated in the mode of goodness, they are Brahmanas. But when one surrenders unto Vishnu, he transcends the material nature, and he becomes situated in the mode of Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. And then he started to explain the situation of a Vaishnava. So this is our grandfather and great-grandfather. What a brilliant spiritual family we have. So indeed we have to be proud of our heritage, our line. Those days, Calcutta was one of the big capitals of the British. And the governor of Calcutta, governor of Bengal, had a very, very exalted position because the British actually started their colony in Bengal. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur invited that governor of Bengal to come to Mayapur, and he went there. So that shows how influential Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur must have been, that the governor accepted his invitation. And those governors were not just riff-raff governors. Like nowadays, they come to any program. Like the other day I was in Orissa, Bhubaneswar, and they arranged for my book launch. The book Ocean of Mercy was translated into Oriya, and the governor of Orissa came to launch that book. But I mean, that governor was not like that. I mean, even when I was young, I saw that how important those positions used to be. And High Court judge was, oh, he's a judge. Big position. What to speak of governors and things like that. But the governor went to Mayapur. Can you imagine? Mayapur is not just 15 minutes or half an hour's drive from the governor's palace. Those days it must have taken 5 to 6 hours to go there. But he did. And so many brilliant personalities actually became his disciples. And many wealthy people actually came forward and accepted initiation. This Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math was built by one person, one businessman. Chaitanya Math also was. This is how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established. It was a revolutionary thing, just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and went to Jagannath Puri, what he did there was revolutionary. Revolutionary. Like those days, unless you were a Brahmana, you couldn't even touch the scriptures. What to speak of study scriptures. What to speak of elevating a non-Brahmana to the status of a Brahmana. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did that. Non-Brahmanas were elevated to the platform of Brahmanas. Why did he do that? Because he considered that now that they have become Vaishnavas, they are already superior to the Brahmanas. So them becoming Brahmana is not a big deal. It's a kind of a step down for them. So this is how clear was his concept. And his teachings also, this is another very beautiful thing to consider. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur built this temple in Bagh Bazar. You will go and see that temple today. It's a beautiful big temple. And he was in Ultadanga main road. That was his ashram those days. Now from that place he is going to the big temple, Bagh Bazar temple. They went out in Sankirtan. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was singing one song that was composed by himself. The song was Pujalo Ragopatho Gaurabo Bhange Matalo Sadhujana Bishayo Range. It means Pujalo Ragopatho Gaurabo Bhange. Transcending, Gaurav means the platform of awe and reverence. Vidhi Bhakti is in awe and reverence. transcending the platform of awe and reverence, the sadhus have become engaged in the rag marg of bhakti. Rag marg means loving devotion to Krishna. Love. Vidhi bhakti means scripturals rules and regulations. Devotional service executed following the rules and regulations. And rag means devotional service based on pure love. Raga bhakti, rag marg. So he's saying, and the sadhus, matala sadhu jana, the sadhus became engaged in vishayarangi, mundane activities. Right? Sadhus live home, go away. But here the sadhus are getting involved in building temples, making all kinds of arrangements, like making arrangements to arrange for man and money. Apparently it looks like mundane activity, vishayarangi. But actually this is the raga bhakti. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan. Sankirtan is actually raga bhakti. Because of their love for Krishna, they are doing something that otherwise those who are following the rules and regulations, they do not do. In that respect, Prabhupada gave one example. That generally when money is offered to a sadhu, he takes his hands at the back. No, I don't want to touch money. But with us, when somebody gives some money, we take it with our right hand and we stretch our left hand for some more. So, why? Because it is being engaged in Krishna's service. Because those who are stealing Krishna's money, we are telling, give us some money back to Krishna, he will get some piety. We want to take as much as possible from you so that you can become free from the crime that you have committed, claiming Krishna's property to be yours. Sadhus are taking those stolen properties and engaging them in Krishna's service. Okay, another example in this respect. Prabhupada is giving the example. There are three types of people. One person sees a bag of gold lying on the street. He picks up that bag and goes away. Another person, he sees that bag of gold and he says, well, it's not mine, walks away. And the third person sees that bag of gold lying on the street. He opens the bag, finds the address of that person and gives it back to that person. So out of these three, who is the best? And who is the worst? You know that. So ultimately, also there are, everything belongs to Krishna. There are some people, those without recognizing, they see those things are lying, okay, this is mine, let me enjoy. These are bhogis, enjoyers, mundane enjoyers. Then there are another person who says, it's not mine, I should not touch it. They are tyagis, those who renounce. And the third one, those who are devotees. They recognize that everything belongs to Krishna, therefore everything must be engaged in devotional service to Krishna. Everything must be enjoyed, everything must be engaged in glorifying Krishna. So devotees are the ones who are the real honest person. Not those who reject, but those who find out who everything belongs to and offers it back to him. So that is the situation of a devotee. Devotees are the best people in this world. They have recognized who does everything belong to, and they are offering it to him back. So, in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually established the Sankirtan movement, and he pointed out that the Sankirtan movement is actually Rag Bhakti, Raga Anubhava. Then, Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 26, he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the first meeting, he was sold out. The person, he didn't even want to go and see him, just at the first meeting. Why? Because he saw that here is a personality who is a real sadhu. Is a real spiritual personality, and this personality can save the entire world. That's why he decided to join him in his mission. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also gave him a very important assignment. You, an educated young man, why don't you take these teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread it all over the world in English language?
Srila Prabhupada ki.
And we have seen what Srila Prabhupada has done. Srila Prabhupada was born in Calcutta. So that way Calcutta is actually a place of pilgrimage for us. Just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace, Mayapur, is important to us, Calcutta also is very, very important for us. And we have visited those places. The place where Srila Prabhupada was born, that was Prabhupada's uncle's house. Generally in India, like at the time of the childbirth, the mother goes to the parents' house. Generally. And of course nowadays everyone goes to the nursing home. But that was the culture those days. And that was actually, that area was Prabhupada's uncle's house, his mother's parents' house. And Prabhupada grew up actually in North Calcutta. And that was in South Calcutta. They were landlords, jamindars of that place. And today that place has been become a slum. It's unfortunate. But we are trying to evict those people and acquire the place, and it's taking some time. Because in Bengal it's very difficult when somebody is staying at some place. That's the problem with communism, you see. Communism, they promote poverty. And the poverty-stricken people are their worshipable vote givers. And communism, democracy, they're all the same. So, in Bengal the rule is, when somebody, they're poor people, where will they go? You are the government, you decide where they will go. Why they're encroaching in somebody else's property? If you are really that compassionate, then you make arrangements for them to stay. That they won't do. They will make the rich people suffer and poor people prosper. And as a result of that, what happens? They bring in poverty. Anyway, let's not get into that. When I think of it, really my blood starts to boil. Because all this, what they're doing is destroying this world. Bengal was such a beautiful place. You know, my childhood's Calcutta, how it was like? Every day at 6 o'clock, around 6 o'clock, a person used to come with a big hose pipe wrapped around his shoulder and a iron key in his hand, and by the roadside there used to be water hydrants, and this water is Ganga water. And they used to open up the water hydrant. No, they first used to hook up the pipe, hose pipe, and they would open the thing and the water would come and they would clean the road. Every day in the morning and every day in the afternoon at around 3 o'clock. I mean, can you imagine how clean the place must have been at that time? But then the communists came, and what started to happen? Don't work, take your money. That was the policy. So all these people, those who used to do these kind of jobs, they stopped working. And as a result of that, the garbage kept on piling up. So bad that you could not really go around that area because of the stench. There used to be a dustbin. There was a round corrugated tin thing, and people used to come and dump their things over there. And the road corners, they used to be at every road corner. But the dustbins disappeared and everybody started to dump things over there. Nobody came to clean them. And as a result of that, it started to pile up. Probably even in some years back, probably you remember, New Market, which is a very prominent place in Calcutta. And the road there, no, not Lenin Cherny, by the New Market on this side. Anyway, where is Loreto College? No, that here. No, not SN Banerjee Road. It has an English name actually. No. Lindsay Street. Is it Lindsay? Anyway, whatever it is. You probably remember the New Market, that road from Esplanade side, Chowrangi side, is gotten ends at the thing, right, in a T junction. And in the T junction, it's one of the main roads in Calcutta. There are piles of garbage. And it used to be smelling so bad, stench, So that's what happened. All the roads were so beautiful, wide and clean. The roads were so wide and clean. And then what happened? They started to get these feriwalas. They set up, anybody can set up a shop. And as a result of that, what happened? All the roads, pedestrian side, has become this hawker's corner. They used to call it hawker's corner. Like, why they should hawk? They should have a place. They're poor. Let them set up a shop on the roadside. And as a result of that, what happened? All the roads got blocked. I mean, the pedestrian. I mean, like Gaurihat Road used to be such a nice road. Rashbihari Avenue used to be such a nice road. You know, wide road and with, you know, trees on both sides of the road. In the middle there were a tram track. You know, completely destroyed the city. 35 years the communists have destroyed Bengal. The most glorious place actually is Bengal today. Because in Dwapar Yug it's Vrindavan, Mathura Vrindavan. In Kali Yug it is Navadvip Mayapur. But see what they have done to this place. Anyway, so we have a very big responsibility to change the world. It'll take time, and they have destroyed the Bengali culture, these communists. They have taken out all the books of the glorious Indian authors and they introduced all the communist literatures, brainwashing people. Anyway, so I hope, the only hope actually, not I hope, the only hope is Srila Prabhupada and his Krishna consciousness movement through ISKCON. So the members of ISKCON recognize that you have a very, very important responsibility to change this world. And wherever you are, try to change this. One thing at least we can do is just, wherever we see that something is not happening properly, if it is within our limit, let's take action. Like for example, I used to go for a morning walk in Ujjain. It's a beautiful area, like university area, which is very close to a temple. And I used to see while walking that there was all these plastics have been scattered all over. So one morning I just told the devotees who came with me, a lot of devotees used to join me. So I said, today let's just start cleaning this place.
Haribol.
And we did that. And it didn't take us very long. Within about half an hour, 45 minutes, all those things were piled up. And we called this municipal authority and told them that we piled up those plastic bags, so clean it up. And the city authority appreciated that. And from then onwards, they started to keep the city clean. And incidentally, I can tell you, Indore is the cleanest city in India.
Haribol.
And
3 years.
Oh yeah, right. Last 3 years. And their slogan is, what is their slogan? Okay, so let us score a boundary. In cricket, when you score a boundary, you get 4 runs. So let's make it 4 times. And then probably they'll say over boundary. And Ujjain, of course, is a small place, but Ujjain is a very, very clean city, actually. So why can't they keep Calcutta clean? But the government has to take action. Like we were in Jagannath Puri. You know what the Orissa government doing? Around Jagannath Puri temple, 75 meters, nothing should be there. They're demolishing them. And then I told this is the first phase. The second phase will be another 75 meters. 150 meters around the temple. And the third phase will be another 20 meters. Another 50 meters. 200 meters around. The government But the government don't want to do that. Why? That if they do that, then they won't get the. Your phone is not properly kept, you'll be fined. It's your responsibility. If somebody has some dirt in front of your house, you'll be fined. If somebody has an accident in front of your house, you will have to pay for that. You know, this is your responsibility. So I mean, it doesn't take very much. Once a week, they go in a van, whatever is lying on the side of the road, whole road remains clean. And one thing in America, nobody throws anything on the street.
$1,000 fine.
Huh?
If you litter, throw something out your window, you are fined 1,000 rupees.
$1,000. Okay. Okay, so this is how. Anyway. Thing, and I was thinking for the whole day. So I have a very close connection with Calcutta. Calcutta temple we had so many devotees, and we had only one bathroom and toilet. It was bathroom cum toilet. And it was very beautiful days. And many of us used to do that actually. Go to Pukur, take our bath. Most of the devotees were from America and Europe. There was the head pujari